upon the American people, or the people of America. Listen and take your notes. This is William Cooper, author's note. I read top secret documents which explain that silent weapons for quiet wars is the doctrine adopted by the policy committee of the Bilderberg Group, the highest secret organization we have going now. During its first known meeting in 1954, a copy found in 1969 was in the possession of Naval Intelligence. William Cooper was from Naval Intelligence. Right. The following document, dated May 1979, was found on July 7th, 1986, in an IBM copier that had been purchased at a surplus sale. Top secret, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, an introductory programming manual, Operations Research Technical Manual TM SW 7905.1. Welcome aboard. These are quotes. This publication marks the 25th anniversary of the Third World War. Did anybody know when that was declared? No, but they knew, because the Third World War was against you. Called the Quiet War, being conducted using subjective biological warfare fought with silent weapons. The word there is subjective biological weapons. When you're going to the subjective, you're going into the nano, you're going into the cells, you're going into the psychology. Security. It is patently impossible to discuss social engineering can this be seen by the cameras at the bottom? Okay. It is patently impossible to discuss social engineering or the automation of a society, i.e. the engineering of social automation systems, silent weapons, on a national or worldwide scale without implying extensive objectives of social control and destruction of human life, i.e. slavery and genocide. This manual is in itself an analog declaration of intent. In other words, by the writing of that manual and by the very existence of that manual, it is an intent to wage World War III. Breaking past all of the different things that led up to the pertinent points that I want to use today, I go right to this subject here, to what's in your pocket. Apparent capital as paper inductor. Now, if you understand what they were saying in the beginning of the book, they set up the economy and your society like an electronic circuit, knowing that magnetism and electricity affect the circuits in a certain way. Amperage, ohmage, and all the rest of these words that I don't know about in electricity is how they run the society. That's why they call your money currency. It's a current. And they use it as an energy to affect specific psychological, emotional triggers in you. Money becomes a psychologically debilitating weapon with the objective of undermining a person's ability to react with sanity and with strength. So if they mess with this circuit here, they can affect this part of the circuit here. And that's how they have the world set up, as an electrical grid. And the currencies are based upon how much energies are necessary to be put in there in order to affect the society's psychological state of mind. So the American public right now had the highest currency value before now. We are slowly being devalued because the current now is shifting overseas to where there is cheaper capital, so that they have a now broader range for using that electrical current in the form of money, currency, to change everything. What I said about Russia's economy falling and part of the East, Germany, while they were over there, all of that is to collapse the electrical system, the moving energy economy that is going to affect the human condition. Your brain works on electricity, and you have connected your brain's electricity to the currency or the current that money represents. So they can psychologically mess with your mind by messing with the currency. Messing with the currency messes with the current of your thinking. The flow. That's the word. It is structure, credit, presented as a pure element called currency. Has the appearance of capital, but is in fact negative capital. In other words, every time you spend $1, you create debt, which means you spend yourself deeper and deeper into a hole. What you think you get positively, you create negatively in your condition. It's called negative banking. Hence, it has the appearance. Go down to 14th Street, down there by Broadway, and look at the ticker tape. And that represents every dollar being spent in the United States. And every time you spend $1, that deficit, which goes up, is actually how far you're going down in the hole.
Gross national product?
No, it is actually the gross national debt.
Okay, debt. Okay.
Yes. So every time $1 is spent, those numbers go up higher, and you see them changing constantly every nanosecond. Hence, it has the appearance of service, but is in fact indebtedness or debt. It has, therefore, an economic inductance instead of an economic capacitance. See the difference? It sucks rather than gives. And if balanced in no other way, will be balanced by the negation of population. In other words, the only way we can negate the negative dive of the dollar is by murder. Remember what I said. Murder will become the economic product to salvage America. The total goods and services represent real capital called the gross national product. The currency may be printed up to this level and still represent economic capacitance, but currency printed beyond this level is subtractive, represents the introduction of economic inductance, and constitutes notes of indebtedness. That's what the dollar has become. It is a promise to pay you later for the thing you receive now. And the tax for that, every time you receive it, when you keep getting from the devil, he puts you closer and closer and slower into that hell. That's the frog getting boiled. War is therefore the balancing of the system by killing the true creditors, the public. What did I tell you about your UCC? Which we have taught to exchange true value for inflated currency, and falling back on whatever is left of the resources for nature and regeneration of those resources. Mr. Rothschild had discovered that currency gave him the power to rearrange the economic structure to his own advantage, to shift economic inductance to those economic positions which would encourage the greatest economic stability and oscillation. The final key to economic control had to wait until there was sufficient data and high-speed computing equipment to keep close watch on the economic oscillations created by price shocking and excess paper energy credits, paper inductance and inflation. You all are out there getting credit for nothing. Credit is nothing. It's about giving you nothing so you can go out and get something and pull yourself into that void, that negation. That's why your bodies are going to be in concentration camp. Slave labor for the bankers who set up this system. That's why they're going to be shipping you from here in this country after they gather you all up to work in places and factories around the world. That's why they're setting your asses up for an intergalactic. What am I talking about?
Space.
Yes.
Universe.
Intergalactic diaspora. You want to jump ahead again? We're studying the problem so we don't get into. Study the problem first. General sources of information about how to keep you going into the negative direction. Telephone taps, surveillance, analysis of garbage, behavior of children in school. Standard of living by, food, clothing, shelter, and your transportation mode. Social contracts, telephone, itemized records of all your calls, which, by the way, now goes to Israel. Israel processes all your phone bills, people.